Good morning, Westeros.
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are your Morning Throners.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners, and we got Jaime 6 on deck. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Pretty good. Doesn't matter to the fans, but 2 records this week. Back to back, 2 good chapters.
We're working.
Can't beat it.
Yeah,
we are balling right now with chapters.
Yeah.
I think this was a good one. It was, I liked that it wasn't all him either, right? Like, there was, like, a good middle part that, like, he didn't even say anything. So,
yeah, he's just an observer pretty much in the War Council. Yeah, what's the synopsis? 3 kind of main parts.
He parlays with Blackfish.
Yep, that's badass.
He goes to the War Council, like you said. And, well, there's actually, like, a 4th part, I guess. Then he saves Edmure, essentially, but then he has that conversation with Edmure afterwards. So I guess the Edmure part is
I
one.
said that. That's all. Yeah, I guess them on the gallows, you could say, is part 3 and part 4.
Yeah, 4 is back at his camp with Edmure. Yeah, yep. Exactly.
I think it's one of the better chapters. I think Blackfish in the beginning's great. The middle's kind of funny just to listen to the phrase bicker. And then Jaime brings it on home for us.
You know, it's a good chapter when, like, the rest of Feast of Crows has just diverged from the show so far. There are so many, like, random things happen that just don't map to the books. But then there's a chapter like this, and I feel like all the main points of the chapter, they might be at different points, but they basically made sure that they got this entire chapter in the show at different points, right? Like, the slap.
I got you.
For, like, the false threat slap is a great moment that they got in the show. The Blackfish meeting is a thing they got in the show. So there's a lot of things that don't happen, but, like, you can tell it's a good chapter when they're like, oh, we
got to put that
in. Like, half the Feast of Crows chapters aren't in the show at all, right? In this one, the entire thing's in there. So, yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah, let's just jump right in. Start, unless you got anything else. Any overall points, Jeff?
I was just going to say something it was kind of maybe Brienne-ish, but I'll leave it go maybe for the spoiler section. We'll talk about it quickly. But no, I think it was a good chapter. I think it was what we needed to get to, kind of like just movement. Like, let's stop standing around looking at each other.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder if I should ask Kyle some questions. I guess one question I'll ask now is, I kind of alluded to it a few chapters ago, but, like, is this a good stopping point for, like, Jaime's story? Like, if we're not, are we going to get any more? Do you think we're going to get any more Jaime chapters this book? Right? I guess similar.
I said shit. Yeah. I did mean to bring this up too. I forgot to bring this up after the other one because you were like, oh, I thought it reminded me of this other, the Tyrion chapter, how it ended is what you had said, that Brienne chapter. Sorry to switch back to the last episode, but the Arya chapter is another one, I guess you could say, where she got hit by the Hound
with the axe.
Yeah, exactly. So that was another one that I thought paralleled maybe a little bit more the Brienne side.
Too many fake deaths around here. Yeah. I think Brienne catches one.
You think Brienne gets the real one?
I mean, how many times can you fake a knockout or fake a death and it's just be a knockout? We need someone to die.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I guess back to the original question. Do you think this is would this be a decent stopping point? I guess your comment of fuck implies, yeah, maybe no more Jaimes.
Yeah. I mean, I think we are getting to the point where like this might be, like, I know the first time you asked me, I was like, oh, there's enough left. I think we're going to start seeing them. Now it's like, well, this could potentially be it. It feels like a strong enough spot to stop, like you said, where it's, enough intrigue, enough has happened. It kind of wrapped up his whole journey other than storming the castle, right? Which would be the cool thing to start the next one with. So
yeah, you can almost see it start ending with that or starting with the next one with that. Exactly. And that's kind of my point is George seems to, even within a book, have characters like to go on an arc, right? Like, I don't think it would have made much sense for Brienne's last chapter to be on the Quiet Isle, but I think maybe this last one we saw would be a good, like, ending arc for her for the book. But yeah, we'll see. So, okay, yeah, let's get into it.
How many left, Nelson? Do you know?
8, I think it's 45, and we're on 38 right now, so 7 more. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, yeah, 7.
You know it's hard.
I get screwed when you
have
roll over.
When you have to include the number that you're on. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
exactly. I wasn't including this one. That's fair, too. If we include this one, it's 8. If we don't, it's 9. Yeah. 7 and 8. Not 8, 9.
Yeah. All right, so we start with Jaime looking upon Blackfish, and he is at the drawbridge. He says a lot of different things about him, like what he kind of looks like. He's a little bit older now. But the one thing I took about it is he could still see that he was the knight that he had admired back in the day. So Blackfish knowing he's still got some solid knight.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of symbolism in what they're wearing. So he's wearing all black armor, basically. But his horse, Blackfish's horse, is wearing Tully colors. So again, he's like the Blackfish, but he's also like House Tully at the same time. Jaime was trying to choose between his golden armor and his white armor, and he ended up wearing a leather jack. I looked this up. It's basically just like a leather t-shirt that you would wear under armor normally. But I think this is kind of interesting because Jaime is coming up to this parlay, definitely in range of arrows, without armor on, right? Which I think we were saying if the roles were reversed, there's no way Blackfish would you know what I mean, give Jaime the benefit of the doubt. Jaime is trusting that the Blackfish isn't going to kill him in cold blood, right? Which is...
Well, one knight has honor and one doesn't.
Yeah, it's like
the Blackfish's opinion.
Exactly. That's why I think it's important to point out that I think there's symbolism there, because I think that's kind of basically the main theme of these two's conversation, right? Is the whole no honor deal.
Yeah.
Yep. Jaime's also riding on his horse. Jaime has two horses. One is called Honor and the other one's called Glory. He's on Honor at the moment. So again, I think that's kind of very heavy-handed by George.
For sure. I mean, he even says it later when he's like, have you no honor, or what is honor anyway? And he's like, a name for a horse. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great line. Do you know what honor is? And Jaime's like, a horse. There was actually a line.
It would be cooler if he said it, but he thinks it.
I think there was a better place that it could have been used earlier, and I got really confused when Jaime was with Lancel. He says something. There's another line where I thought it was where this was going to happen. Lancel said something about like Jaime, like he's like, you have like, do you know nothing of honor and glory? And Jaime's like, I have two horses named Honor and Glory or something like that. Like I think Lancel used both the horses' names, and I was like, wait, I know Jaime used this joke at some point, and I like Googled it, and I was like, it's in a few chapters of Blackfish. So
a little early.
Yeah, I like that joke.
So they meet up right away. Blackfish calls him Kingslayer, and it's not the way Jaime wished the conversation started. He was kind of hoping that it was going to go a different path, but the path was being laid out for him. I think Blackfish probably came on a little too strong.
I think it's kind of clear by the end of the conversation that he had no intention of doing anything except for trying to basically come out here and get under Jaime's skin, like provoke him, basically. Yeah. All he's doing is insulting him literally the whole time, right?
What else are you gonna do, man? These people are surrounding your home. Like,
be a diplomat. I don't know. There's a way out of it. He could have saved everybody else in the. All I'm saying is there's an option to save everybody in the castle, and he could take the black, right? Which.
Yeah, but I think it also points out that like he's not just some of the stuff that he's saying. He's not just saying, like, he actually believes that Jaime isn't gonna uphold any of this shit. Jaime has no honor, and like Jaime wouldn't actually like do what he's saying here. Again, I don't. It's hard to tell, and I think we are kind of seeing Jaime through rose-colored glasses at this point, right? Like, Kyle had a very similar thought of Jaime before Cat Freedom, and we started getting POV chapters, right? So I think it's understandable why Blackfish would think the same thing. He has learned nothing new about Jaime since that moment.
I still think Blackfish is kind of right to have that assumption here as well, and the end of the chapter kind of proves that. So
that Jaime's still willing to cross the line a little bit if he needs to. Yeah,
I'm just saying he went with going in too strong. Even if you don't believe it, like he didn't even really kind of like give it a chance. I would say like you could still play your cards close to you. Like, all right, fuck you. I'm just here. I don't know. Whatever. It's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be right.
No, I agree with you. I feel like he's missing out on good opportunities by having the viewpoint of Jaime he is, but I think it's also understandable why he has that view. So.
For sure. I agree with it too.
You're getting attacked at your home. The last time that these dudes were involved with your family, they murdered everybody. Like, I mean, I know that he blames the phrase, but like Tywin was definitely involved. Like, I mean, they're pretty mortal enemies at this point. So like, fuck Jaime from Blackfish's point of view.
Yeah, but everybody else had something to do with that night. Like Mark Piper and Vance are still chilling in the war tent with these people. Like people have gotten over it in a way. I'm just saying, Blackfish is acting. Whatever. Mark Piper is still captive. Lord Piper is still angry, but he's there, right? So people have moved past it still in one way or another. You might not forget, but whatever. Right away, Blackfish is like, all right, so where are the girls at? Did you uphold your promise?
This is like, did he actually think Jaime? Was there any like percentage of him that thought Jaime might have had the girls in the tent and just like didn't want to bring them out on the drawbridge right now? Like that's actually why Jaime called this meeting. Like
had to be 0. I mean, they definitely had scouts seeing him walk up with no young girls except Pia, right? Like,
yeah. I think it's definitely right. It's just a jab, but it's just so funny.
And the best part is like, all right, well, I guess you can go back to your cell then. I think that's even funnier than like just assume, not even assuming, just like implying like, all right, let's go back in your cell. You didn't uphold your end of the bargain. And James,
and he's like, I think this is interesting too because he's like, I prefer the comforts of my pavilion, and he's like, oh well, Kat has the comforts of her grave, but we know she doesn't really. She's not. She doesn't seem to be too comfortable. She's out there. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
To be
more
argued.
Comfortable. It's one of those things where it's like, you know how they always say like I feel like in ghost movies, the ghosts don't want to be a ghost. They just want to go away and be at rest, right? Like it's almost one of the things where Kat is now. Like, yeah, we didn't see too much of her, but it doesn't seem great. Like she might almost just prefer.
That happy of a life.
What I mean? It kind of like Barrick was saying. He was like, Barrick's like it's not the same anymore.
Right, exactly what Barrick was saying.
Yeah,
it's fucking me up. Well, I was gonna say she was also just like thrown in the river, right? Like she wasn't even in a grave, so
a watery Tully grave. She would have ended up there anyway. And Jaime thinks to himself like, all right, I could explain all the things that have went wrong on my mission to try to get the girls back, but I'm not going to waste my breath. Like, Sansa was already gone before I got there, and Arya, they were both gone, right? They both had left King's Landing before.
Yeah, and I've done the best I can. I sent Brienne, who we know has as good a shot as anybody, out trying to get her. So, but exactly like you said, like, Blackfish doesn't want to. It's just excuses, really, and he doesn't want to hear. It's not going to sway him. He's not going to care. So he keeps that to himself.
Yeah, and he even says, like, I'm here to talk about the living, not the dead. I thought that was a little fucked up on Jaime's part. Like, this dude's obviously pissed that his sister was murdered and his king was murdered. Like,
but for Jaime's point, like, what am I going to do about that now? Like,
you can't do nothing about it, but he could have said maybe...
You can be a little
more... It
more...
might have even been hollow.
Yeah, a little
like,
more
hey,
empathetic
sorry,
about
Cat got killed. I wasn't there. Like he does say in a little bit, like, look, it was the phrase in my dad. Like, sure, my dad might have had a part of it, but, like, I was fucking... getting my hand chopped off and getting drugged through the woods. I didn't do that shit. But whatever. I just probably would have fallen on empty ears anyway.
Yeah, when Jaime says here is Blackfish was giving him the same look that Ned had given him the day he found him sitting on the Iron Throne with the Mad King's blood on his sword. And again, I think to your point, Jeff, it makes more sense in his Ned thought. Like, you should have explained yourself a little bit to Ned there, right? You go around for the Kingslayer, you explain yourself to Brienne in the hot tub at Harrenhal, and we're all on your side now, right? Made sense after you explained it to her. Why didn't you explain it to Ned?
Honestly, if he explained it to Ned, there's probably no book, right? There's a chance that the Lannisters and everybody could work in harmony.
Are happy, yeah. But I think part of it's his pride, right? Like, I don't owe you an explanation. What, like, Jaime almost has this thought, and he never quite says it, but it's almost like he thinks that you should give me the benefit of the doubt. Like, I should always be given the benefit of the doubt. I never need to explain myself. I'm above that, almost in a proud way, is what it seems. Again, he never like vocalizes this, but like, why not explain yourself to Brendan? I don't think it would have helped in this case. I think it might have helped in the Ned case, but yeah, like, why not?
I think he didn't care too much about other people's opinions back in the day. So, like, even if like the Kingslayer really jabbed at his pride, like, he had thick enough skin where he's like, well, fuck it, I'll just fight me then. 1v1 me right now if you have something to say. Like, he probably offered that up a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where hindsight, right? When Ned walked in, he didn't envision that the rest of his life he would be hated for this, right? He probably didn't see that future coming at that point. So why would he explain himself? Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, so let's talk about the living. And here they're actually not talking about like the people inside the castle. They're more talking about an actual exchange of hostages. And Jaime, it's funny. Like, I've read this book many times. I know kind of where the chapter ends. I still thought Jaime was being like super, super generous here. I think by the end of the chapter, there's a second reading of this exchange of hostages. But what's the proposition?
I have an interesting thought about read the proposition and I'll.
Well, the proposition said that he gets Edmure, and then Jaime gets back the what are their names now? It's Rob's wife and her family. The rain. What is her name?
I only know the
Westerly.
Westerly.
That's
yes.
Westerling is the last name.
Yeah, Sabelle is the mom.
Jane is her name.
Jane is the wife of Rob, and Rollum and Elena are the other two that are still in there. There's a fourth sibling, but that guy went to the Red Wedding. We haven't heard of him.
Is Jaime just assuming that the Westerlings want to leave?
It seems to be.
Well, I guess what are your thoughts on this situation, Kyle? before I say
I,
what
I
my
mean,
thoughts are.
it could be the fact that they could be like plants from the beginning, essentially.
I feel like you've kind of alluded to that before.
Yeah, like they've always been Lannister people. Yeah.
Tywin pardoned them like pretty much right away with no questions asked, and you were like, that's odd.
Yeah.
Like, why would he do that if they just completely jump ship?
Where is
Yeah.
Mr. Westerling right now?
He's outside. He was basically talking to there was in the last Jaime chapter. He says Emmon Frey wants to kill Edmure right away because it's his castle, and he thinks basically, well, Edmure's alive. There's a Lord of Riverrun.
Mr. Westerling.
The opposite to him, who was basically on the other shoulder to Devon, was like, don't kill him, don't kill him, don't kill him, was Gwaine Westerling, who's the husband of Sibel,
Okay.
because he thought that if Edmure died, his children
They would
get killed
Okay.
inside. Exactly. So the thought is they are like the thing is like Jaime's crew thinks these guys are hostages.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're gonna be killed. Like not
Right.
loyal to Rob still.
And Blackfish is like, no, I'm actually protecting them. Like, that's
Exactly.
my queen still.
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
which is, it just makes me think that, like, all right, Edmure is, like, walking across the drawbridge for the trade, and the Westerlings are standing there, and they just, like, no, we're not leaving. Like,
Yeah.
this is us now. Or at least Jane, maybe. Maybe the mom and the brothers the brothers were Rob's squire.
Well, it may be the husband who's on the outside has got the pardon from Tywin and he's on board with that. But like maybe Sibel and them, they don't know that they're on
Who knows? That's what that was my thought. I was like, they're trying to trade something that, like, they might not even want to go.
Well, I think what we saw with Tywin earlier, and Kyle jumping because I don't want to.
I was just gonna say, like, I think you might have, like, they're sitting on the inside of a siege, so like, like they getting out, they might want out of there. No matter how loyal to the Tullys and whatever, Riverrun or Rob they are, like,
Sure. I think so. Yeah. So I guess what I was going to say is what we saw earlier with Tywin basically pardoning them right away, and I think he makes some weird comment to Tyrion that kind of insinuated they might have been in on it from the beginning. I think this kind of implies that maybe they weren't in on it from the beginning, but maybe like once it had happened, the husband was never with Rob. Like, well, he was when Rob was at the Crag, but he never like went on the campaign with Rob. Maybe once that happened, the husband's like sending letters to Tywin like, yo, my daughter fucked up. We'll do whatever you want now. But like, you know what I mean? Maybe he's just trying to save face after the fact. And maybe the wife and children actually are not part of it. I think this kind of throws it makes it foggier what's actually going on. I think it was more implied that they were on side until this moment, right? Because yeah, it seems like either Blackfish is BSing or at least one of Jane is still kind of loyal or
She's pretending to be queen. Happy. It sounds like she's pretending to be queen, unless Blackfish is like bluffing right now.
Because he's like, I'm not going to hand her over to a noose. If he thought that basically she was part of why Rob failed because she was on the Lannister side the whole time, he would be like, I'll kill her myself. You know what I mean? Like she'd be dead already or whatever, right? So yeah. It's
one thing I do want to say, just because we skip past it, Blackfish right away was like, all right, kill Edmure and be done with it. Like, I don't want. He was basically like, fuck Edmure. Like, I'm cool. Before the preposition was even like given, he was like, kill him, be done with it. Like, let's move on.
Yeah, quit this mummer's farce.
I just thought it was interesting that he was like, all right, chalk him up real quick. Like, no discussion.
Yeah, and what I was saying at the beginning of this like whole exchange of prisoners thing is like, it seems like Jaime's giving too good of an offer with the Lord of Riverrun for like 3 kids and an old woman, and they are from like a minor house. Like who really cares about them? Until the end of the chapter when like Jaime letting Edmure go back into Riverrun is kind of his whole plan at the end of the chapter anyway. So like here he's kind of just like securing the Westerlings before he does that, or at the same time as doing that. He's going to do that for free anyway. At the end of the chapter.
It doesn't really the exchange doesn't really benefit Edmure and Brendan anyway, because like they're still in the shitty situation of like being on the inside of a siege. Like it doesn't improve any of that. So that's why it's kind of like a laughable attempt, in my opinion. I didn't think it was too good of a. If it was like, hey, we'll trade them and then we'll leave, and you guys can do whatever you want, and like they actually did that, then it would be too good.
Because I don't think it was a trade and leave, right? It was a trade. Let's trade, and then, hey, all right, I'll let all of the people who want to serve under us, or they can go home, but they have to rip off their banners, right? So it wasn't just a straight up trade. It was a trade, and then you surrender. right?
I don't know. It's weird. They talk about the trade separately from talking about the surrender. So it's almost
Right.
like Jaime tries the trade first. He doesn't go for that. So he's like, okay, well, in that case, let's just work on this straight up surrender. So I don't know. It seems like you could have taken one without the other, but it's unclear.
That's how I wrote it in my notes, but now I'm thinking about it. Like, Jaime's not taking the way you're putting it right now. Like, it's a bad trade. It is a bad trade unless you put in step 2, where it's like, all right, you can have Edmure back, but then you have to forfeit to us.
Well, basically, Jaime's whole point is by giving Edmure back, I can make you forfeit, and we'll talk about later why he thinks that's the case.
Sure.
But yeah, so exactly, Blackfish might also be realizing that, right, and being like, you know what, it's actually, and maybe that's why he's saying kill Edmure, because like having Edmure stand out there on the gallows isn't doing shit for Blackfish. Letting him come back in, maybe Blackfish has thought about this, right? He's like, that could go bad. We'll get to it more of it later, but the whole point of why Edmure going in is bad is Blackfish has nothing to lose. He doesn't give a fuck about anything. He doesn't have any friends or family that are really alive that he cares about. Edmure now has a wife and children and a whole life ahead of him to live, and he does have something to lose, so he isn't going to want to fight to the death. That's kind of the whole plan, the whole point. So if Blackfish has thought about this, that might be why he's like, just kill him and get it over with, right? Because it makes it kind of simpler.
And it sounds like Blackfish has enough friends that want to be with him. It's not going to be him by himself. Like, they're going to hold off. Like, they get into like this battle that could ensue if they don't just forfeit the castle over. And Blackfish seems prepared to take whatever amount of men, I didn't do the numbers, 20 times less than what Jaime has, and at least try to hold off the siege But
Blackfish admits that we'll all die. We'd rather all die than...
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he has enough men behind him that are willing to follow him rather than just drop their swords and take the plea.
But Jaime's point is Blackfish is okay with death being his end in the near future.
I completely understand that. I just think there's also other people at River Run as well that are willing to stay and fight.
Honorable death versus a dishonorable life, right? And I mean, that's even like Blackfish. Oh, you get to go to the wall. Like that is not an enticing deal. I don't know. Like, I feel like the terms of the surrender aren't that great. But
definitely not for an old man who's lived and like fought battles and like doesn't plan on getting married and having kids, right? Like, he's a knight. He wants to die with sword in hand, and what he says, I'm going to die warm with the sword in my hand. Like, fuck you, basically. You're not shipping me off.
Yeah, but just to counter what you were saying earlier, Jeff, and maybe, I feel like it's somewhere in these books, maybe it's only a show thing. At some point during a siege, it's something like this, where Blackfish is like, we'd all rather die with sword in hands. And Jaime's like, really? All of you? If I gave every single one of your men the same option I gave you, you don't think anybody would leave?
Okay, sure, but I don't know that. You can't pull in quotes from the show when you want them to, right? We don't have his men standing there saying, I want to leave right now. We have him saying, Blackfish is telling us that my men are ready to fight and die. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's fair. I guess my main point is it doesn't really matter what any of the men think in either situation. It's not up to them. It's up to Blackfish or Edmure, depending on who's in charge, and that's what Jaime can control.
Sure.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter one with either. In here somewhere, Blackfish comes at him for Ares. He's like, I'm not listening to anything you say. I don't trust you. Bargaining with Oathbreakers is like building on quicksand. And Jaime wants to basically be like, I didn't break my oath to Cat. It was more Tyrion than anything because he was the one that actually promised the girls. I was just the one that got told to carry it out. And he says, I feel like Jaime was starting to fall into the trap here. Up until now, he basically, every insult he'd ignored here, he's trying to make an excuse. He's like, Cat had me at sword point. Like, is that really a fair oath? And Blackfish is like, well, what about the oath you made Ares? Were you at sword point for that one? And Jaime's like, that has nothing to do with any of this. And he kind of brings it back on track. He's like, or I guess this is when Blackfish talks about Rob's wife. He's like, I'm keeping her safe, blah, blah, blah. And this is where they get into the talk of surrender.
The terms of the surrender are pretty much, like, I'll let you go to the wall. All your people that want to stay and be on my side can.
Yep.
Serve Emmon. Yeah. Emmon Frey, this guy who keeps waving his paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, he's an idiot. He's such an idiot.
Can pretty much. And that's really the gist of the terms.
Anyone who doesn't want to stay can leave, but they got to give over their arms.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
And cut off their sigil, right? Was that part of it?
Arms and armor. I took that more as just meaning like weapons and armor, and but you think it means like arms as in like their coat of arms? Maybe.
That's what I took it as, but maybe not.
And Blackfish is like, I don't believe you, because what will happen to those people who make that choice? A decent amount of them will join Barrack, and I know you don't want that, so I don't believe you're just going to let them go. He's like, a lot of them will probably end up hanged. Wonder who did that. right? Like insinuating that Jaime's going to say he's going to let him go and then immediately send people out to like hang him and pretend it wasn't him or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what about me? Will I be walk through the street like Ned? He's like, no, you go to the wall. And then he starts talking shit on Jon.
Yeah, this was an interesting play just because it's, again, from Cat's perspective, Cat hated Jon. Not many people straight hated Jon, but Cat did. And
I was thinking that at first, but then I was also thinking, you know who Brendan's been hanging out with a lot recently was Rob, who doesn't hate Jon. And Brendan wasn't there when Rob made his will, but like he was in a lot of the councils before then. You don't think there would have been like this, I trust this one guy.
Well, even if maybe he even started to think more about how Rob thought of Jon, he's going to use how Cat thought about him in this context of being like, fuck you. I ain't doing that. Like, Cat didn't trust him either.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I think Blackfish for sure knew that Rob liked Jon, but I think it's likely. And I think what you're saying exactly, Jeff, is even if he did know that, he's ignoring that in this context because it doesn't help him. Yeah, exactly.
Did Cat know Rob's will?
Yeah, we don't actually know for sure what's in it. All we know is Cat and Rob had this conversation beforehand of like, who's going to be my heir? And Rob's basically like, it should be Jon. And Cat's like, no, what about this like random cousin from the Vale? And Rob's like, no, it's going to be Jon.
So if he was even there for that conversation, he could tell that Cat really...
But he wasn't.
Okay, maybe Cat then talked to him off page or something like that.
Well, my point was that was right before the Red Wedding, right? It was on the way to the Red Wedding while he was left here to
Blackfish
defend. So, yeah. But again, Rob might have talked to him about this before, you know what I mean, beforehand or something like that. So who knows?
So Jaime's like, all right, fuck it then. I'm going to have to attack. You're making me, I'm going to climb the walls. I'm going to bust the gate down. I'm going to kill everybody. And we have 20 times your numbers. 100 of your guys will die. And he's like, and Blackfish at one point was like, well, thousands of yours will. Jaime's like, I got people. And I did enjoy how he said that they would attack as well. He's like, I'm going to send your own bannermen at you first, and then I'm going to send the phrase, and I got plenty of them, and then my people will be the last one to go.
Does he say that to Blackfish? Because it's a good point.
No, he says it to Edmure at the end, I think.
Oh, is that later on?
I know he definitely says it to Edmure. I didn't remember if he said it to Blackfish or not.
Yeah.
I think it would have been as good as a point now than then. Like, all right, you're going to kill your own people first. Like, your own friends are going to die.
Agreed. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. You know what I would love to see, though? Like, along the lines of if he did send them. I know you're going to know what I'm talking about here, Jeff. Like, in Braveheart. I forget exactly what it is.
Never seen it.
Battles.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Braveheart?
Nah.
Dude, you would love Braveheart. That's crazy. But there's a part in Braveheart where basically two armies are attacking. And it's like a similar situation where some of the army that's attacking had recently surrendered to the army that they're now fighting for.
They just turn around.
And they like charge each other. And they like, as soon as they get to each other, they all drop their weapons and like shake hands. And they all basically the guys who had just surrendered are now back on the side that they were on.
I mean, it's just stupid. That's just.
I would love to see like that happen.
It probably would happen, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, all right, help them up, get them back on our side.
Exactly.
I do think that might happen here, though, right? Like, the first waves. He's doing a lot of trying to convince him that he's alone, but I mean, he's also himself. Everything he's seeing is kind of saying otherwise, right? Like,
well, and in this war council that's coming up, literally everyone just hypes him up. Even like the Westerlands who like weren't on his side ever, they're like, well, he's not going to fall for that. He's too smart for this. Like, they're not like hyping him up in like a this guy rocks type of way, but he's not going to fall for stupid tricks and stuff like that. Like, everyone respects the fuck out of this guy. Right?
Well, it's not even that. I guess more of what I was going to say is that they're all arguing with each other the whole time. It's like this petty squabble, like internal thing here. Like, nobody in this council likes each other. It's not put together of people all on the same side or the same page.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're just talking about Blackfish. I just brought that up to talk about how he's respected. But when they're talking about like basically all your people are going to die, I don't care how many I'm going to lose. Jaime says Blackfish. He's like, I'm going to kill all yours though. And Blackfish is like, I know the tune of that song. It goes to the Rains of Castamere. They're going to rather die with a sword in hand than the headman's axe.
Yep.
And Jaime's like, this is not going well.
I don't know how do they jump into then about the laws of hospitality. They jump in like talking shit about the Red Wedding. I don't know the transition. Yeah,
Jaime's basically like, this resistance is futile. Your war died when Rob did. And Brandon says he was murdered in the breach of the laws of hospitality. And Jaime's like, that was the phrase, not me. And Blackfish's like, it smells like Tywin though. And Jaime doesn't say this, but he thinks not wrong about that.
I mean, obviously, like the phrase weren't coming up with that plan. They can't even talk about like what they're having for dinner, the phrase, without bickering and fighting against each other.
But Jamie's basically like, Tywin's dead now too. Like, there's no use in worrying about him. Like, what he did doesn't matter anymore. And what he said, he says, may the father judge him justly. And Jamie thinks it's a rough thought. Not even Maribald last time said, may the father judge them harshly. This isn't even harshly. This is just justly. And Jamie's like, that's appalling. if Tywin got what was coming to him,
assuming
basically.
that it's going to be a bad deal.
And basically, Jamie's like, it doesn't matter if it was in breach or if it was a murder. I would have killed him in the Whispering Woods if I would have got to him. He's dead. That's what matters. He's like, his kingdom died with him. And he's like, Blackford's like, you must be blind as well as crippled. Like, do you see the banner? It's flying above Riverrun.
Kingdom isn't dead, is what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. Blackford's like, kingdom's not dead while I'm alive.
All of his bannermen have folded. They're on his side now.
Yep, Piper, Vance, Mooten, they've all yielded. Riverrun's all that remains. You're at number 20-1. And he's like, yeah, but you need 20 times the food then. How's that looking for you?
And we ain't leave much behind, which is a great point, too. And then Jamie's like, oh, well, we'll call for the Frey to, the Freys to bring us food or West to bring us food. But they got people to feed, too. It's not like there's abundance of food everywhere right now.
Yeah,
and winter is coming. Let's not forget, winter is coming.
There's not going to be enough food, yeah.
And Jamie even admits it's a bluff because he thinks to himself, like, he hoped the lie didn't show in his face. I thought that was interesting because Arya's been playing this game, right? Where that's the whole point, is be able to say shit like this and not show it on your face. So, yeah, exactly. And Jamie's like, we can bring food from the West. And Blackford's like, yeah, okay. It's not my place to question such an honorable knight as you. And Jamie's starting to get kind of irked by all this.
Jamie's like, all right, fuck it. Let's 1v1 this thing right here, right now.
Well, Jamie doesn't suggest us.
Well, who did then?
My champion against yours.
He says 1v1. Jamie suggests 1v1, but he says my champion versus your champion.
He didn't throw himself in yet because he knows he sucks. And Blackfish calls him out. He's like, you couldn't kill me if you tried right now with your offhand.
Yeah. So, yeah, at first, Blackford's like, who's it going to be? Lyle, Craig-Hall, Strongbore, Adam Marbrand, or Blackwater Frey? Which is probably just a hint that these guys are probably pretty good fighters if Blackfish thinks that they're, like,
champion worthy.
For the champion. Yeah, exactly. And Blackfish is like, what about me versus you? Huh? Well, let's do it.
He would be so quick to offer him. Like, it wouldn't have been a question a year ago, like, who
Jamie?
the Lannister champion would be. Yeah. Now he's throwing other people out there.
Yeah, and I think this is a little parallel to, we've seen this very recently, right? And we actually had on the podcast the same analysis they have of this thought later in the council chamber. Loras offered this at his Siege of Dragonstone. He's like, let's 1v1. And we were like, well, that was dumb. Because even if he would have done it, like, nothing would have changed. And somebody later in the council chamber says the exact same thing about a 1v1.
If your guy loses, you lock the doors behind them and just keep on keeping on.
Exactly. So, but yeah, when he offers it to Jamie, Jamie thinks, oh, that would have been a fight to see one day, but one for the singers. But at first he's like, Cat freed me, and I swore never to take up arms against Tully again.
Yeah, what a lame excuse.
Brandon's like, oh, how convenient.
It's definitely a nice
I'm just gonna
excuse.
throw your baby over the wall.
It's like, oh, this is the oath you're going to uphold. Nice. Yeah.
And I thought it was telling. Well, you got into the point of like, all right, like the only thing I would get out of this 1v1 would actually be killing you. Like, there's no way no one's respecting the honor of the 1v1 after we kill each other.
Well, I think this is a cool quote. So after he says that, he's like, that's convenient. Jamie's like, are you calling me a coward? And he's like, no, I'm calling you a cripple. He's like, we both know you can't fight with that. He points at his hands like, you got nothing in you anymore. And Jamie says, I had two hands. And he thinks, would you throw your life away for pride? A voice inside him whispered. Some might say a cripple and an old man are well matched. Free me from my vow to Lady Catelyn, and I will meet you sword to sword. If I win, Riverrun is ours. If you slay me, we'll lift the siege. So Jamie, I think, knows here it would be game over for me if I did this. Would you throw your life away for pride? And the answer is yeah. That's literally like,
he would
not quite written that clearly. It is.
It definitely feels that way.
He definitely thinks he would die, but I definitely don't think that.
Would you throw your life away for pride? And then he literally offers it to Blackfish. So like, it's not quite written as clearly as I'm joking around, but like, it literally says, "Would you throw your life away for pride?" Yes, was his answer.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think it's just kind of telling about Jamie now.
Well, yeah, he hasn't fully kind of transitioned to a good person.
Yeah, I think it's also just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna keep being treated like this by everybody I meet the rest of my life. Like, why the fuck not? What else do I have to live for? I think there's a little bit of that in this moment.
I think
feel
that's
that, yeah.
fair too, as well. It's like at some point you got to stop trying. It's like you're never gonna look at me differently. Like I'm gonna stop at some point, but
Yeah,
to just say like fuck it, I'm gonna enter a fight that I have no chance of winning.
yeah.
Which I don't know if that's. I think that's too prideful. All right, so.
And you were saying it earlier, Jeff. Blackfish's response is like, I'm not gonna do the 1v1.
Well, yeah, because like even if it's not Jaime, right? Like even if it's like two honorable-ish people, why would the person outside the gates why would they ever just be okay? Yeah, we lost this fight. Like we're going home. Like we talked about this before, I think too.
Either way, neither one. The people inside, if they lose, they're not just opening the gates.
They might.
The people outside aren't.
They might lose their figurehead and their strength. I think, right? Like in that sense. So I think in that way,
I hope you have a vice guy that can step up and do it. Like if you really care. But
I mean, to Kyle's point, this is literally what Jamie's hoping on. Hope is at the end of the chapter. Is if we can get a different guy to call in the shots, then everything can change. They are literally led by one guy. It's the same true as the outside. The thing is, the outside has a chain of command that ends at Cersei. And Cersei's not letting the siege go. She's not here. She doesn't give a fuck how hard it is outside the siege. She's like, I want that castle.
Exactly.
It's to your point, Kyle, it's what we said earlier with Loras. Loras can be as honorable as he wants in that offer and actually mean it. But as soon as he's dead, he's dead. It's not up to him anymore. It's up to Cersei. She's going to say, keep the fucking siege on.
Cersei sends a whole other army there.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing where it's, I don't, it's a lose-lose for the people inside.
And that's what Brendan says. He's like, I'd love to kill you, but it would win me nothing except for
the joy of killing you.
Exactly. And my life's worth more than that. Yeah, I'm not risking that. So he's like, are there any terms you would accept?
Fuck no. I'm here just to provoke you. See how angry I can make you.
Yeah, read that quote, Jeff.
From you?
Sir Brendan shrugged.
No.
Why did you even come treat with me?
Our siege is deadly dull. I wanted to see this stump of yours and hear whatever excuses you cared to offer up from your latest enormities. They are feebler than I had hoped. You always disappoint, Kingslayer.
The Blackfish wheeled his mare and trotted back towards Riverrun. The portcullis descended with a rush, its iron spikes biting deep into the muddy ground. Jaime turned Honor's head about for a long ride back to the Lannister siege lines. He could feel the eyes on him, the tullied men upon their battlements, the frays across the river. If they are not blind, they'll all know he threw my offer in my teeth. He would need to storm the castle. Well, what's one more broken vow to the Kingslayer? Just more shit in the bucket. Jaime resolved to be the first man on the battlements, and with this golden hand of mine, most like the first to fall. So again, I think this was a little parallel to Loras. This gave me Loras vibes. It's kind of what we heard of Loras, right after the whole. Jaime ends this conversation in a very similar way to what we hear Loras was doing.
Well, fuck it, I'll be first then. Yeah.
I think that's stupid too of Jaime. Like,
oh yeah,
you have
die for pride.
You have a bigger role than just to. Like, you're the commander right now. You're not only the commander of the Kingsguard, but you're commanding the Lannister army as well, right? Like,
I think the point is to show that he kind of has a death wish, at least in this moment, because Blackfish definitely got under his. I mean, Blackfish pushed all his exact. He's not buttons, even
gonna get the Blackfish if he makes it. Like you said, he's gonna be the first one up, and he's gonna die. He's not getting the Blackfish. I don't know if Blackfish is the first guy standing there on the wall, which I doubt he is, but.
Oh, I agree, but I think the point is Jaime in this moment, Blackfish has just this entire conversation come at nothing but his honor, and all we've seen since he got POVs is like that's the one thing he's been trying to be better about is like do the right thing, be kind of more honorable. And Blackfish is just like fuck you, I'm never gonna listen to a word you say because of what you've done. So Jaime's, I think at this point he's kind of like, what's the point? Like why try and keep going on this path
I'm with you. I feel it. Yeah. I feel you. But again, just to like say fuck it and die, like you could still live and say. I'm not going to live with your opinion, but
I agree.
So he gets back to his camp and he sets up his war council. Nelson, rattle off the names. You're up.
Lord Clement Piper, Lord Norbert Vance of Antrea, Lord Carl Vance of Wayfarer's Rest. Those three are the River Lords. Sir Devon Lannister, cousin Strongbor Lyle Crakehall. Strongbor is Lyle Crakehall. Adam Marbrand, Forley Prester. Those previous four are the Westerlands. And Sir Emmon Frey, his wife and Jaime's aunt, Jenna Lannister, Jenna Frey now. Walder Rivers, which goes by Bastard Walder, and Edwin Frey, who is second in line to the twins, eldest son of Ryman, who is the heir and That's kind of the first thing.
And drunk.
He didn't make it to the meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was funny. He was drunk. Everyone's like, why the fuck's he drunk right now? He has an upset tummy. He needs the wine. The wine will help. That tummy must be pretty upset.
Devin's like, is he drunk or just hungover from the night before? He's like, he's got bad digestion. He needs a drink to keep the things moving. He's like, what do he eat? A fucking mammoth? Is that is he drinking enough wine for it?
He just keeps drinking. Yeah. And I mean, I was a little confused through here, but then we see him later. Yeah, he is just drunk. He's just drunk.
Just partying. He's just out there partying. Yeah. So we go through kind of, Jaime just sits back and listens, but every guy kind of goes through their idea of how they should storm or break the siege, win, basically. And I hate Emmon, man. Emmon's a top 5 worst character.
Yeah,
like, how someone doesn't take this piece of paper and, like, throw it in the fire or, like, crumple it up and throw it in his face. Like,
yeah, I need Cersei here. I need to rip her. Fuck this paper.
How many
She
times
probably wrote it.
How many times have we met Emmon? Twice? Like,
and I already hate him.
He's mentioned this paper 9 times. Like, he's the worst. He's basically like, hey, let's just hang. We got to hang Edmure because if he's alive, he's a threat to my castle. And
well, that's definitely what he's thinking, but that's not what he says. He says, let's hang Edmure and send the head to Blackfish. That'll make him yield. And it's like, what? Why would that make Blackfish yield? Because you gave, like...
Yeah. You actually be doing probably what Blackfish wants, right? Because then he could just treat River Run as his castle.
As his. It is his.
It
becomes
right?
his.
Yeah. So he's like,
which, I mean, I
think
a lot of this, and like what you just said, Nelson, really points to the what Jaime's observation is like mirroring his father's counsel. He's like, oh, Dad's smart thing was to let his counselors talk first, right? And listen, get good ideas before you come to your conclusion. And then here it is. The first idea is pretty shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I do think it is interesting that Jaime does want to he's trying to mirror this after Tywin. I think at the ending, he's like, this did not go at all like one of Tywin's counsels.
Yeah.
I think part of that is because, like, well, Tywin's not here. Nobody would act out like this in front of Tywin. Part of that's on you, Jaime, right? To keep you guys in line,
I think Jaime's mind's already made up too. I think he knew what he had to do or what his plan would be.
It's a good point by Kyle, though. I guess I agree. I always thought what you're saying now, Jeff, until Kyle just said that. You don't think he learned anything through these arguings that he's implementing?
Well, for sure. I think there's probably 2 things. I think the first part is the show that, like, he's putting on that I'm now in Tywin's chair. So, like, Tywin wouldn't have probably done anything without at least calling his men together. So, like, I think it was just formality to call a war council before you do it. And then 2, maybe you hear an idea that you're not thinking about that could spark something else, right? So just maybe not completely shutting the door on what your own idea was. But
yeah,
I think
we don't have to go down this rabbit hole because we're going long. But, like, again, you guys know I always care too much about, like, by the letter of the law. Does the commander of the King Guard have any right to just, like, show up and just command the armies?
Well, that's the whole thing about how Jaime's treating his job. Like, it's been my problem since I've said it with the people at the wall, right? Like, once you get to the wall, your name and your titles are gone, right? So once Jaime becomes Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, his Lannister rights and privileges, I think, are gone. Like, there's no more of you can't be both. You can't be Lord Commander of the Kingsguard.
So time out. You didn't say it, Jeff, but I think what you're implying is, and I 100% agree with you. It seems like most of the respect he's getting here isn't because of his title as Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. It's as, like, a celebrity status thing from being Jaime Lannister, right? Tywin's son.
I think Cersei even told him, like, no, you need to command the Lannister army now. Which, like, I don't know if that falls under the rights of the Lord Commander's job. Like, he should be protecting the king.
I think what you're missing is that the king is his son, right? Or his, whatever you want to call him, nephew-in-law.
You could say, like, all right, he's protecting him by leading the war, fine. But, like, it's
what I'm saying is that Cersei can have him do whatever she wants to have him do, and people have to listen. So it does not matter.
Yeah, it becomes a gray area because, like, technically, while Barristan was Lord Commander, Cersei could have, like, Robert could have been like, hey, I want you to go command the Lannister army. Right, and because Robert's the one in charge and Robert's giving that command, it doesn't matter who's in charge of the Lannister army. Now Barristan is because Robert said so, and because Cersei's technically the one in charge right now, it doesn't matter who's in command. To us, it feels like she's giving him command because he is a Lannister, and she is. But I guess it becomes a gray area. But I guess I agree with both of you guys.
Yeah,
but yeah
I think it was more so. I'll just say, I think it was more so like, look, you're the Lannister guy. You're the Lannister male. You're leading the army. It wasn't anything to do with like I command you to like break you of. It was just like I think it was really implied that like, all right, this is you now. Like, go do your job.
Yeah, exactly. And I 100% agree with you that I feel like a lot of the respect he's getting is because of his celebrity Lannister status, but it should be through his Kingsguard status. And he does bring that up later as the Kingsguard thing, but we'll get to it. So let me rattle through some of the points of I have it as bullet
I have them
points.
listed. I do too. So let's just.
Devin Lannister says, let's storm the walls, like I've been saying the whole time. Lyle Craigcall says, I'll lead the attack. Emmon Frey says, no, that's my castle. I got this letter.
Again, that's a stupid ass thing too. Really quickly on Emmon.
Yeah.
Rebuild the fucking gate, dude. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Put a new fucking pillar up if one gets knocked down. Like, the bones will be there. Like,
give me the football analogy first. Catch the ball before you run. Edmonds worrying about step 2, right? Like,
right.
Bro, you don't have the castle.
He's worried about
yet.
scoring the touchdown. He doesn't have the ball yet. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
great deal. All right, keep rolling.
So he says, "Don't attack my castle. It's my shit." Edwin's like, "Edmund, we've seen your paper. Go show it to Blackfish. We don't want to hear it anymore." Still along the lines of "Let's storm the walls." Adam Marbrand says, "Storming the walls will be bloody. I suggest we wait till a dark night and we send a dozen men across the river. I'll lead them. We'll sneak over, scale the walls, open the gates from the inside."
They shut that down quick. Blackfish will be ready for that one.
Blackfish will be ready for that. It says Walter Rivers, which again is a fray, but he was like with Blackfish, like he was on Rob's side for a while. Right? We saw him in chapters with like Catelyn in Rob's group, so he does probably know Blackfish personally. Any thoughts on this, Kyle? I think this isn't a horrible idea. Again, I think Walter's probably right. Blackfish will be ready for it, but I think it's not a horrible idea.
SEAL team like operation go.
Yeah, sneaky mission.
Yeah, I think that's harder than you think. They don't have like grappling hooks and stuff like to just scale the walls.
Didn't Danny use Danny did this, but through the shit tunnels,
The sewers, yeah.
Okay, that's what that's like the last Danny chapter we had, and it was like a year ago. So I keep forgetting if we've actually seen that or not. Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. This feels like the Danny thing, which is why maybe I kind of like it because it would like.
Which I mean, we do know of a port or a hole like kind of like that here, where it's like in there, like the dock way. Isn't like a treacherous dock or something here that they could probably possibly sneak up in?
The entire castle surrounded by
yeah, but
rivers.
I think there was like a dock that they like in one of the chapters that was like in like not a whirlpool.
There was like
it was just hard to get to.
Stairway down into the water that they walked the funeral boat into.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So Walter River says he'll be ready for that. So again, along the lines of still storming the walls, Edwin Frey says Blackfish is our problem. We just need to take care of him. We're gonna move the siege towers up, put a lot of archers in them. They're gonna shit on their arrows. Then we're going to fake an attack, which will draw Blackfish to the walls, and then we're going to all just aim our arrows for Blackfish. Then he says we're going to put shit on him. And then this starts a little conversation. Before we get into like the argument here, though, I don't hate this idea. Like, am I dumb?
I just don't. I think
they don't respect it.
They're going to shoot the archers down, won't they? Like they'll shoot back. They'll shoot. Like, it doesn't matter who shoots first. Like, if you get the archers in range, that means that they're in range, no?
Yeah,
for sure. But I think that the idea is then we're gonna have people like storming the gate with like over the river. Like we're gonna have bridges that span the river, and then your archers will be shooting them.
Yeah, I don't think it's an awful plan if you could protect your art. Like obviously you have way more archers, right? They have 20 times.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I don't know that they're worried about the numbers. It's more
what
of
if
like
Blackfish never
Blackfish going to show up? Yeah.
They're like betting that he's going to be like standing on top of the wall, like looking out to see what's going on.
I think it's a safe bet, though. I would if I was Blackfish.
Nothing. You wouldn't do shit.
I'd be interested.
Hiding. You'd be praying with the sept.
I'd be like, ooh, let me see.
Let me go catch an arrow in the face. Yeah.
Hey, wasn't Blackfish the one that like Edmure was missing the arrows to light Lord Hoster's funeral, and Blackfish was the one that hit it?
Yeah. Think so.
So he'd be up there shooting with the rest of the archers.
He might be.
Great target. All right, next suggestion. No, so he says that Carl Vance doesn't like this. He's like, oh, is it going to be your shit that we're rubbing? Is that your contribution? I'm sure it's a really deadly poison. And Lyle Craigcall's like, Blackfish deserves a nobler death. I'm going to 1v1 him. And this is where Prester basically says, that's not going to do anything, like we already talked about. So then Norbert Vance, who is another one of the Riverlands people, says, I used to be squires with Blackfish in service to Lord Derry. Let me go speak to him. I'll be able to convince him to basically just surrender.
Let me talk to him.
We go way back, yeah. Probably wouldn't work.
And
Piper pipes up.
yeah, he's like, I'll tell him that his cause is hopeless. And Piper says he knows his cause is hopeless already. He's like, the man's not bloody stupid, Norbert. He has eyes and too much sense to yield to such as these. He made a rude gesture in the direction of Edwin Frey and Walter Rivers. Edwin bristled. If my Lord Piper means to imply, I don't imply, Frey. I say what I mean straight out, like an honest man. But what do you know of the ways of honest men? You're a treacherous, lying weasel like all of your kin. I'd sooner drink a pint of piss than take the word of any Frey. He leaned across the table. Where's Mark? Answer me that. What have you done with my son? He was a guest at your bloody wedding. So this is where things kind of heat up.
Piper popped off.
Understandably.
Understandably, for sure. But it also shows you, like, I think it should show Jaime, like, yo, watch out for these people. Like, they're not even close to being on our side yet.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
exactly. And I mean, he knew that. He knew that already. But
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah, but
definitely is a big red flag.
he hasn't really thought about how big of a problem this could be, though. Like,
You're right. He is
I
just
feel like
assuming that everybody's
it
going to
wouldn't
listen
take
to him.
much for a battle to start outside these walls, and Blackfish have no part of it. You
What
know
if the
I mean?
Piper men just started running around with torches and just, like, quickly lit as many tents as they could on fire, right?
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah, like I feel like Jaime is aware that he has some squeaky loyalties, but he hasn't ever thought about the fact that like this could bubble over quickly. Like it seems like Blackfish has no chance, but like when you see this council and how does everyone doesn't like each other on this side, you're like, you know what? Maybe if he lasted a week.
Well, this is what I was saying
but
earlier
Riley
with
keeps
the
being a dumbass, he will just piss someone off enough. You know what I mean?
this is what I was saying earlier when he offered Blackfish and he said, "Look, man, you're alone. Everybody out there is on my side now." And it's like he's really lying to himself and Blackfish here. Like that's not
That's
the
true,
truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Jaime knows it, yeah. So Edwin's like, yeah, he is a guest. He'll stay a guest. And Clement's like, well, it wasn't just him. He was 5 knights and 20 men in arms with him. And Edwin's like, some of them might be captives. The rest of them got what they deserved. And Piper's like, whoa. Like, you watch your mouth. Say that with a sword in hand, pussy. He's like, or do you only fight with smears of shit? And Walter basically has Emmons back. Walter Rivers, bastard Walter. He's like, he's not the fighter. I am. I'll step outside with you if you want.
yeah, Piper didn't like that.
And Jamie's like, this is where Jaime pipes up. This is a war council, not a war. Sit down. They don't. Jaime says, now. And then Walter does, but Piper muttered something under his breath and storms out. And Devin's like, you want me to go get him? Edwin's like, Ilan Page should go get him and bring only his head back because that's all we need. And Carl Van's like, he was just pissed off because you captured his son and all the knights and everything he was talking about. They were all his relative too. So everyone you killed and captured, they're all related.
And you
to
just
him,
talked
so.
shit on and said they deserved the murder. Yeah. Those
Yeah.
were all his cousins and nephews. Yeah.
Edwin's like, they were all traitors. And Jamie's like, well, yeah, they were traitors, but you were on Rob's side at the beginning too.
I love the double.
And then
the
you
double
betrayed
traitor
them.
call
So
out.
you were technically a double traitor.
The double traitor call out's great. That's probably Jamie's best thing that he's ever done is to pipe up in that way and just like, all right, Phrase, shut up. Like, you have worse honor than me, so stop talking.
And it says something like he liked watching like the smile die on Edwin's face or whatever. So
Yeah. He just comes for the phrase in the next like 8 pages, which is great.
yeah, but he basically at this point he's like, all right, meeting over. Like this is getting out of hand. And he's
Get outta
like,
here.
Tywin's meetings never went like this. Evan on the way out, Evan's like, Jaime, just one last time I'm gonna try and remind you I have this paper and you shouldn't attack my castle.
Oh man, Jamie should have ripped it out of his hand and threw it in the fire. Honestly, or like
Well-
confiscated it. Like you can get this back when I tell you you can.
Yeah, go
Stop
sit in the
talking.
corner.
Stop waving this around.
Yeah. Even Jenna's like, shut up. You're not the Lord while that guy's over there on the gallows. And he's like, what are you going to do about that, Jaime? And he's like, leave it to me. He's like, Lyle, Ilan, come with me.
Let's go.
We're going.
I really
Yep.
wish he just called him Strongbore all the time. The back and forth between Lyle and Strongbore.
Yeah, I always
for a
forget
little
who's
bit
who,
is-
yeah.
That's confusing. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is Strongbore? Wait,
Yeah. Where
who's
did
this
Lyle come
cat?
from? Yeah.
Let me guess, because I remember this confusion too. You guys always think that Strongbore is Adam Marbrand. I feel like that's what I always thought of like my first read or two, was that
And-
like Strongbore and Adam Marbrand were the same person, not Strongbore and Lyle Craig Hall.
I think it's fair. Like, I don't know. Who was his best friend? Like Marbrand's his best friend that came on this trip, right?
Yeah.
Adam
Yeah.
Marbrand, yeah, is like one of his
Yeah.
buddies, yeah.
And they picked up Strongbore.
I remember
So-
because the Craig Hall sigil is a boar.
That helps.
That's where you got to
It's a
think.
good way to.
So
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
we don't really know many other Cray calls though, so it doesn't help too much because we only really remember that in Jaime chapters. So, but yeah.
So as they wait for the ferry to go back over, because the Freys had already started taking the ferry over, they had some time to talk. Jaime gives them his plan, which we don't get till later, obviously.
Yeah, I was wondering, what do you guys think he tells them here? Like, hey, we're gonna go fake kill him, and we don't even really.
I don't even know it's fake kill him. It's like we're gonna go cut him down and he's coming with us because I have plans for him.
Yeah, I think we're about to go demote Ryman. Is like the main. We're gonna demote Ryman and bring Edmure to camp. Sure,
I guess I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I guess the way George writes it is really weird, right? So when Jaime gets there, Ilyn swings the sword and someone's like, no, stop.
Yeah,
and then we don't hear at all what happened there for like 2 pages while he's talking to the Freys. And then it's like, Ilyn's slice had cut the rope. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle, was there a thought? There a thought that he had killed Edmure in that situation? I mean,
no, because they didn't freak out nearly enough.
Yeah, I think Jaime's even talking about Edmure as if he's still alive. So I'm like, why did you write it so like weirdly? You know what I mean?
I think Jaime knows that he can get a lot more use of Edmure alive than dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. What I think's funny about when Jaime tells him the plan here is Ilyn spits in the river. So again, it's like at the time you don't know it, but the implication is Ilyn doesn't like this. Like Ilyn almost would rather just let's go kill the fucker.
Probably. Sometimes I just spit. Sometimes you just got
maybe, but that doesn't get written about. That's one of the ones that
I think, it seemed like it was like he did not appreciate Edmure at the very least, or the Freys, dealing with the Freys. I don't know. Maybe it was somewhere in between.
I think it's more like, come on, I literally have one job.
Yeah, let me chop a head. It's been too long.
Let me cut a head every once in a while.
I think I do
That's
agree.
fair.
That's why. His walk through camp did not go unnoticed. He had kind of a celebrity walkthrough. People started kneeling to him, and Horus wanted to get after him. He just plowed on through, get to Ryman's. He gets the Ryman's tent, right? Big tent in the deal. There's a lot of music going on, and he could hear sounds of women in there.
Yeah,
or woman.
Yeah, it was a party.
And Water Rivers is out front, which he's like, that guy. We gotta watch out for that.
Well, he's out front of his own tent, but yeah.
Yeah, but which probably next door, but
yep. He's got a different sigil, which bastards we hear do this. He flipped the colors, which is a normal bastard thing, right? It's what the Blackfires did. So he just flipped the colors, but he also has a red, I think basically just a red slash through it. So it's almost like anti-Frey, right? It's kind of what it would look like in like a street sign nowadays with like a red slash through it. But and Jaime's like, yeah, that's a cold, suspicious look. That one's dangerous. So I don't know. Keep an eye out for Water Rivers, I guess.
I thought it was a more decorative red slash, like almost like decorations on the from like building the building was how I.
Really? No. I think it's just like part of the design. Like like Nelson saying, like a slash.
To be fair, this is a heraldry term.
I'm sure it is.
Red bend sinister.
I didn't Google it.
I think sinister means diagonal. Bend means like just basically like one line.
Yeah.
And sinister I think means diagonal.
I was just picturing like if these are the twins, just a red line kind of connecting them or through them type of thing. Like I think it would have been cooler without it. Or if you got to move that red line to the background. Having the red line in the foreground is stupid.
Well, it says it's over with a red bend sinister across the towers.
I'm saying it should have been behind it, not in front of it. It would have looked better.
But whatever. Yes, they get to the gallows.
Before he gets to the gallows, he gets to the guards of the gallows, and Jaime's like, I gotta go. And they're like, oh, no one goes up there without Ryman's permission. He's like, get the fuck out of here, I'll kill you. I thought it was interesting the moment Edmure, season 1, he calls him Kingslayer, and he's also like, let's go, Ilyn, like, cut my head off. I'm ready to go, man. I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, that he's been living a pretty shitty few weeks here, so
for sure,
that's fair.
For sure. I can't imagine just one day of just standing there would be brutal. He's been doing it for how many days in a row, right? Of just standing all day.
Exactly. Jaime's like, all right, do it. Yeah, Ilyn, do what the man says.
Go swing.
And Ilyn does the swing. Like I said, it's weird. Edwin comes up, no stop, but we don't really hear at all what happens. Jaime's just like, Edwin says, Jaime, Ryman's coming, don't worry, you must. And Jaime's like, first off, don't call me Jaime. That's my lord to you, and don't say fucking must to me.
Yeah.
Cersei.
Two good points.
This is some Cersei shit, though.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it in a while, but that was a thing we talked about definitely a lot early on, how like Stannis was always very hey,
I'm the king.
your grace, not your lord.
Yeah.
Exactly that type of thing. And yeah, exactly.
I do think there's some problems in the ranks though, for sure. Like I think Jaime you need a little bit of this when there's like if everybody respects you, great. But like the phrase think that they're like equals to him at this point or
yeah. And my point is I think they might be on paper. So Jaime basically just needs to make sure that they don't think that. Even if it's true that they're like, no, this guy's the one actually pulling the punches. So and part of that comes
I don't
from
think they even are on paper because they're the people that have the crown right now and the throne. So
yeah, I guess Cersei gave, like we said, Cersei gave him command. So yeah, Jaime's in charge. But yep, Ryman comes up
drunk. What I think it's so stupid. Like he's obviously angry. He brings the Queen of Horrors up there, and she has a little conversation with Jaime, which she's funny. Ryman's all pissed off that she's like speaking out of turn up there. What was the point of bringing her up there at all?
Well, he's just.
He's drunk. Yeah, he's drunk and partying.
You stay here. I got to go deal with something. Like,
and then she followed him, and then he's like, "All right."
Her being here is stupid.
Oh yeah,
her being
dude. If he's too drunk to go to the War Council, he's too drunk to realize
he wasn't too drunk. He wasn't too drunk. He wanted the party. He was like, "No, I'd rather have the Queen of Horrors here than go listen to that War Council." He wasn't drunk yet.
For sure, I think drinking. It's both. Yeah,
he wasn't even drunk. He's not even drunk here. I guess he was. He stumbled a bit, but at the time of the War Council, he was starting the party. He wasn't drunk. I'm a firm believer of that.
That's fair. The thing is, that people like to drink don't get up at dawn.
It says he came stomping up the gallows steps in company with a straw-haired slattern as drunk as he was. So both of them are wasted. I think.
They're drunk, but they
at this point they're both drunk.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like I'm the Queen of Horror. First off, she's wearing a circlet of hammered bronze sat askew, graven with runes and ringed with small black swords.
It doesn't mean anything to me. I have no idea what that means.
I mean, she's wearing Robb Stark's crown.
That's Robb's crown?
Yeah, bronze crown. Come on, who else is going bronze? Everybody else will be going gold. Only the Northmen will be going bronze. Robb's old crown. Cool. Well, it's kind of cool. It's also kind of sad that Robb's old crown is now on a whore that a Frey is giving around at a camp. Like,
that's kind of the point, right? They're disrespecting it. Yeah.
Exactly. You good, Jeff?
My headset just died, so I think my recording will be fine. It's just not going to be as soundproofy, would be my guess. I'm putting the recording level up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't like. I mean, she was there for comedic relief, and it's interesting now that you say that she was wearing Robb's crown. I didn't put that together at all. I didn't make any sense of what she was wearing.
There's a point later where Robb's like, "Get out of here. You can take your whore," or Jaime's like, "Get out of here. You can take your whore, but leave the crown." I have as a quote later, so we'll get to it. But one of the funny things she says is, "I'm the queen," and Jaime's like, "Huh, my sister might have something to say to that." She's like, "No, I'm the Queen of Horrors," and Jaime doesn't say this, but he's like, "My sister might still." Also.
It's one of the best thoughts that he's ever had. It's so great.
My sister holds that title too. It's good that he was able to say it without mentioning Lancel, Moonboy, or Osmond. I didn't have to write any one of their names down in this Jaime chapter for the first time in forever, but he does still get the Cersei's a whore jab in there.
But yeah, that was awesome. I giggled to that.
Yeah, pretty much he's like tells Ryman like, look, man, you can't make empty threats. Like everybody can see through this shit. Like, right?
I thought it was really stupid too that Ryman tried to like explain what he was doing.
Yeah, he's like, this is the way we do it. This worked before. It works every time. And he's like, no, dude.
It sounded even stupider when he explained it. He was like, yeah, we're just going to keep throwing him up there on the gallows every day. And it's going to work. And you're like, what? Like,
he's like, I warned Blackfish. I told him we're going to hang Edmure. I made these gallows to prove that I don't make idle threats. It's like, trust me, this worked at Seaguard. But Blackfish, he didn't yield. It was crazy. They yielded at Seaguard. He didn't yield here. And Jaime's like, oh, so then you must have hung at Edmure. And then it says like his face reddened. And he's like, well,
our hostage.
If we killed Edmure, we wouldn't have a hostage. Did you ever think about that, Jaime? And Jaime, this is where I have the quote starting.
Only a fool makes threats he's not prepared to carry out. If I were to threaten to hit you unless you shut your mouth and you presume to speak, what do you think I'd do?
Sir, you do not understand.
Jaime hit him. It was a backhand blow delivered with his golden hand, but the force of it sent Sir Ryman stumbling backward into the arms of his whore.
You have a fat head, Sir Ryman, and a thick neck as well. Sir Ilyn, how many strokes would it take you to cut through that neck?
Sir Ilyn laid a single finger against his nose. Jaime laughed.
An empty boast. I say 3.
Ryman Frey went to his knees.
I have done nothing.
But drink and whore, I know.
I am heir to the crossing. You can't.
I warned you about talking.
Jaime watched the man turn white, a sot, a fool, and a craven. Lord Walter had best outlive this one, or the frays are done.
You're dismissed, sir.
Dismissed?
You heard me. Go away.
But where should I go?
To hell or home, as you prefer, so that you are not in camp when the sun comes up. You may take your queen of whores, but not the crown of hers.
Yep, that's where I was stopping. Yeah, so again, just a great like kind of back and forth. Jaime again pulling rank, putting this guy in his place. The backhand with the idle threat, backhand with the golden hand.
Bam.
That's got to be no joke.
About time you start using the golden hand too. Like if you're gonna have something like that, you better start using it.
Fly gives you lemons.
Just they just get a golden fist, right? Just, like just a big
That's
hammer.
what Jeff keeps saying. We need attachments.
So many cooler things he could have gotten than the handshake hand. It
That
could've been a
G.I.
fist,
Joe
could've been
hand.
a hook. Just a pointed sharp finger would have been cooler. Whatever. Ryman's out. Edwin, you are in. You're taking charge.
Don't be as stupid as your father. Edwin's like, that won't be hard, which kind of tells you maybe what Edwin thinks of his dad.
Absolutely.
Or else.
Yeah, he doesn't have high thoughts on him. And also tell grandfather, send all the prisoners you got out.
Yeah,
Which that's
I think this is
interesting,
kind of
but-
like an interesting one line. Like you can kind of read over that. Kyle, any thoughts on this? This is literally like, hey, everybody from the Red Wedding, right? All the people that these River Lords were complaining about. Like, is he gonna just give them back? Good guy Jaime. I feel like that's kind of what I want to believe as a reader, but it just doesn't make any sense. And if Cersei has any say in it, there's no way that's what would happen.
The crown requires all his prisoners. Yeah. I didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
That means the Red
All the
Wedding
Red
people.
Wedding
I think
people.
like the guys that all the River Lords are just freaked out about Mark and everybody.
I think
Okay.
he's really trying to. I don't know if he's trying, but I think the last two things he did, demoting Sir Ryman and now freeing the Red Wedding prisoners, is going to piss off Lord Frey, Old Man Frey. Which,
For sure.
is he trying to do that? Is he trying to say, like, actually,
No.
fuck you, Old Man Frey?
I
or-
think he's trying to reestablish order for himself, but in doing so, it's going to piss off Walter, right? Like, that's the whole game of this, right? It's like every move you make is going to not be beneficial for somebody else. So they're all kind of playing, on top of each other and trying to make these agreements when you can, and they're like weak agreements, and yeah. The long story short, he's definitely pissing off more people here, even though he seems to be noticing it in a way. Like we've talked about this, where he's like, yeah, people don't like the Lannisters right now. Lannister name's pretty shit, so we thought he would not be doing this as much, but now here he is doing it.
Well, you said that by freeing the prisoners, you don't think he's actually freeing. I think he just means like me and Cersei are in charge of them now, not the Freys anymore. Are you in agreement, or do you think he's? Again, I would
Are you
hope
asking
that
me
in
or
the
Kyle?
end, you, because earlier you had said something about like freeing the prisoners.
I think it really could go. I don't remember if we ever hear about it again. I think it could go. I think they could do either. I think he could truly maybe give them back to the people that have come over to their side. Like, here's good faith. Like, stop fighting us at every war council. Here's your son, Mark Piper. Really is the point. I think if they just moved Mark Piper, and I'm just using him as an example because he's the one that I know is there. If you're like, hey, like he's actually in our cells now, Old Man Piper's gonna be like, well, he's still a fucking cap. Nothing's changed, but people who are holding him. So like, no, fuck you. So I really think they kind of have to give him back to the families.
You would think.
Yeah, well, I think part of it doesn't have to be an all or nothing too. Like
Show
Jaime
up
could
good faith.
decide that, hey, the Pipers are wishy-washy. Let's give them Mark, but like, hey, or maybe
Keep one or
hey,
two.
I
we'll
don't know.
give
How do you do that?
Well, they are-
Any family that has someone there is like, wait, what the fuck? Like, do I just need to try to storm out of a war council to get my son back?
Well, like Jaime has, to your point, Jaime has another one of Clement Piper's sons as a squire, little Lou Piper. So, like, yeah, maybe give Mark back because we already have one of your as like a kind of hostage, right? Like, technically, Lou's a hostage.
Yep.
I don't like your thought. You always think that like squires and pages are like hostages.
That is
which I
so.
guess
They kinda are.
but they kind of are, but that's
That's the point.
not really the point. I don't think.
Well, I think it's both.
I think it's more of a show of good faith. I think that like, oh look, we'll turn on you if we need to, but like,
well, for sure. I think that's the hope, and I think a good point of what you're saying, Jeff, is we'll get into it later. what kind of the first offer Jaime gives Edmure later, like the good offer. It's like, yeah, like we'll take you. Your son will be a page and a squire at Lannisport. And I think the idea there isn't he'll be a hostage. The idea is they're like, we'll actually give him a good life in time. But there's also like the implication of if you behave.
Sure.
And we're not going to talk about the if you don't behave prospect.
Because he's a hostage. Yeah.
But there is a good it's carrot and stick. It's not just stick.
I think the point is, like, we want to have a Tully, right? Like, maybe Emmon Frey doesn't want to, but you don't want a reign of Castamere every name out there, right? So, like, they're trying to, like, all right, we'll take this this Tully and we'll raise him up to be an ally.
Exactly. I agree with you. That's the plan A. But I think to say that there is no plan B, like, wink, wink.
There's plan B. Yeah.
Obviously it's there, but, like, you were really heavy on Theon being a hostage, and they're not getting treated like they're a hostage. Like,
but that's what it is.
Sure, I'm not going to argue about it more. I don't.
Well, no, I think it's a great point. I think
it's a very big difference of being an actual hostage and being treated like a page and a squire. Like, sure, we could always turn you into a true hostage, but that's not the point of what we're doing here. Because they don't have to treat him good. They could just say, "Fuck it, you're going to be in a cell." Why not just put him in a cell forever and just give him oats and honey and water? Why treat him like a page and teach him how to fight and teach him history and everything like that when you don't have to? There's no point to it.
Because it's payment for the behavior.
Right, I'm not gonna argue about it anymore.
Hang on. It's just where the pendulum swings, right? Like with Theon, I think Jeff's right, and he's more of a ward and a squire than he is a hostage because that's how Ned treats him. Think about Sansa when she's in King's Landing after Ned's dead. She's a ward to Cersei. She's being treated definitely more like a hostage because of Robb is an open rebellion than she is a page. I don't think Cersei really cares about raising Sansa up to be the next Stark and being an ally. I think she's just more like, I'm going to kill this girl if you step out of line.
When like the Redwine twins.
That's probably a more of a problem of who the person is that's doing it, but...
Yeah, it depends. Exactly. It depends more on the person who's doing it, not the ward themselves.
I'm just saying in the sense of, all right, you're going to be a page, it's not to be a dick and treat him like a hostage. It's to try to mend fences, I would say, more than anything. But
I agree with you. The general plan A should be the good path. If no one dies, then eventually we become allies. We don't have to be lingering the point, but I think it gets complicated in this situation that we're talking about here with the Pipers, because I bet you Clement Piper has a very similar view of Jaime that Blackfish does, where, okay, this very unhonorable guy will do anything that he needs to do to get ahead, kill his king, blah, 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 fuck his sister, right? That news is out there. Now he has my son. Like, Clement doesn't probably know Jaime buddy. He doesn't know him like we know him, so he doesn't know he's on a redemption arc, right? Like, he's probably a little worried about that.
He's already got a son, though, to your point, though. Like, move on.
Yep. So they're on their way back. No one really spoke at all. Jaime's like, hey, singer. The singer that was singing to Ryman before. You're coming with us. They also have him on a leash. Someone makes a joke about a fish on a leash. Not a real leash. The noose that was around his neck has some rope. Yep. And when they're on the boat, Edmure's like, why? Why are you basically saving me? Or, yeah, like, what's going on here? And he's like, think of it as a wedding gift. And he's like, what are you talking about?
A Lannister pays his debts.
I didn't know what he meant by this. He says the Lannister pays his debts. It's not to him.
I didn't either. It doesn't make much sense.
He's not paying his debts to Edmure because he says Edmure is the coin he's going to use to pay his debts.
Right. So this is a cat debt.
That's what I'm thinking. Is Edmure the way that he's going to basically try and capture Riverrun?
It's the only debt. It's the only debt he really has. Is the cat, right?
That's what I think he's thinking about here. But what's the implication then? Like, what do you mean? Spell it out.
I'm gonna break the siege by not killing a Stark or a Tully, and you're how I'm gonna do.
You're the way I can do it. Yeah, I agree. That's how I kind of read this too. After in hindsight, yep.
But making it saying it's a wedding gift was weird. I think.
That made it strange to me for sure.
Well, Jaime doesn't want to tell Edmure, like, I'm using you as a chip to get what I want. I don't give a fuck about you at all. I mean, he does later, but
which is part of the whole, like, you kind of keep saying he's on this redemption arc, but it's a rocky road. That's all.
Here.
That's all. Yeah. There's some setbacks.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But you have to be too. Like, if you're in this position and you have teeth, like, at some point you have to use them, right? You can't just show them all the time, right? You have to.
Yeah, well, that's his whole point with Ryman. So yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. We'll get to it in a second. So I think the only other thing they talk about here is basically Edmure says what was going on during the Red Wedding. Like,
Well, Jamie's just like, how could you be bedding your wife while your whole family was dying beneath you?
yeah. He's like, I didn't know they had fiddlers outside. And Jamie was like, oh, and I'm sure she was distracting you. And this is kind of fucked up. He was like, no, she was actually crying. I thought it was just because, and he doesn't say, but probably just because, like, maiden woman on a wedding didn't really want to do it, right? So it's just fucked up because the implication is Edmure knew she didn't really, was thinking, oh, she doesn't really want to do this, and then he was doing it anyway, right? But no, she was crying because she knew that she was basically the distraction, for a huge massacre. And now it seems like she likes him, right? That's kind of,
she definitely does.
We haven't seen it, but that's what. I mean, we've heard it from like two people, but
they seem happy.
Yeah, she's a wife now. She's a wife. All right, Jamie gets him in, gets a bath going for him. They get some food and wine ready for him as well. Kind of was like, all right, I mean, you're gonna get the good life here. Like this is how you should be a prisoner. Like probably how I thought it on the first read through. Like he was just gonna get the good life treatment as a prisoner, and then Jamie goes into the options that he's leaving him, and there's two.
Yeah, Jamie does kind of before the options spell out what we already said, that basically the whole plan here is we need Edmure inside in charge because he has something to lose and Blackfish doesn't, right? This is where he says like Blackfish is just willing to die, all he wants is a good death. Edmure now has a wife and child that he seems to care about. Like Edmure kind of, to your point, like how do we know that? He mentioned something about like kind of caring about her before. Like he probably should have zipped up on about that, right? You don't want to show your captor your weakness, but so yeah, we get into the two different options, and I think the best way to just kind of spell it out is to read them. I think it's very interesting because it's very just juxtaposed. One seems so open-handed, and the other one is so brutal, and it's just very hardcore carrot stick moment.
Read them out.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yield the castle and no one dies. Your small folk may go in peace or stay to serve Lord Emmon. Sir Brendan will be allowed to take the Black, along with as many of the garrison as you choose to join him. You as well if the wall appeals to you. You may go to Casterly Rock as my captive and enjoy all the comforts and courtesy that befits a hostage of your rank. I'll send your wife to join you if you like. If her child is a boy, he will serve House Lannister as a page and a squire, and when he earns his knighthood, we'll bestow some lands upon him. Should Rosalind give you a daughter, I'll see her well dowered when she's old enough to wed. You yourself may even be granted parole once the war is done. All you need to do is yield the castle.
Yep, and Edmure's like, okay, well, if not, and Jamie thinks to himself, will you make me say the words? Pia was standing by the flap of the tent with her arms full of clothes. His squires were listening as well, and the singer. Let them hear, Jamie thought. Let the world hear. It makes no matter. He forced himself to smile.
You've seen our numbers, Edmure. You've seen the ladders, the towers, the trebuchets, the rams. If I speak the command, my cuz will bridge your moat and break your gate. Hundreds will die, most of them your own. Your former bannermen will make up the first wave of attackers, so you'll start your day by killing the fathers and brothers of men who died for you at the Twins. The second wave will be the Freys. I have no lack of those. My western men will follow when your archers are short of arrows and your knights so weary they can hardly lift their blades. When the castle falls, all those inside will be put to the sword. Your herds will be butchered. Your godswood will be felled. Your keeps and towers will burn. I'll pull your walls down and divert the tumblestone over the ruins. By the time I'm done, no man will ever know that a castle once stood here.
Jamie got to his feet.
Your wife may whelp before that. You'll want your child, I expect. I'll send him to you when he's born, with a trebuchet.
Yep.
Bum. Ruthless.
Very ruthless.
I think it's a good, I'll just say this. I think it's a good threat. I think losing a castle of Riverrun stature, probably pretty stupid. Just tear it down.
Yeah, I agree.
To just chalk up a castle is pretty crazy.
This is all a threat, right?
So part of me, I want to ask you guys too. Do you think he's bluffing? Is that what you're implying, Jeff? Is that he wouldn't actually tear it down?
I'm saying it's a bluff that we're going to tear down the castle brick by brick and divert the river over top of it. You have a good castle. You have a good, strong castle. Why would you? If you could win it just by killing the people, you don't have to do all the other stuff that follows, right?
It's just amplifying his point of just like, I'm gonna scorch her with you.
I think it's great storytelling for sure. It's like I'm gonna make the world forget that your family ever existed.
Yeah,
stings a lot more than I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly, and that's why I kind of feel like it's a bluff, and I feel like I kind of want to tell myself that there is partly bluff in here because I want to believe Jamie's on a redemption arc. But the next little part here, I don't remember. There's something again, but basically it goes. Jaime wonders if Jenna would still say that Tyrion was Tywin's real son. That to me means like I'm not bluffing.
I don't really. I think it's more of the show
because that's what Tywin did with the Rains and the Tarbecks.
I think it's more of the show that he put on than he'd have to actually do it for me to give him any. I don't know,
credit. Not and again credit, not in like a good way, but like to actually believe. Yeah,
he has no credibility that he's actually gonna like. I don't even know. Did Tywin tear down the castle of the Casimirs? Right, like the castle probably still stood. Right, like you just don't do that. I don't think you could delete a whole family without tearing down the castle. You just throw another flag up there, right? And in 50 years, people.
I don't know. I feel like that we've heard of it happening before, though. Of a whole tear down.
A main castle. A main.
Oh yeah, this
seven
one. No,
family. This is a top 7 family castle.
Like he's definitely just like talking shit though.
I mean, Winterfell got burned down, but that was probably stupid. Like the burning of Winterfell was probably fucking stupid when you look back on it.
I know an example that we can talk about in the spoiler section because I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. But it's definitely not a top 7 castle. I'll say that. So I don't have an example on that scale. That's a good point, but. They have been moments where it's like, we're erasing you from history, basically.
I'm sure there's been a lot of erasing by history, but I think you could do that without taking down the brick, would be my point. But if he did do it, man, it'd be a bold, badass move. I just think it's a stupid move to tear down the castle.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's war, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, you got to storm the castle, you got to kill people if you need to. It is what it is, right? But...
Well, and I think part of the point of this whole thing too is not only how bad the bad is, but the good is like pretty fucking good, right? Like
for Edmure, though, I don't know. It's still
not for who's this not good.
I guess you're right. I mean, I was just say his people. Like you're giving up the fight of your homeland, and like I don't know, right? Like that was their cause, and they're losing.
Who care? Like besides like lords and the families of lords, no one cares. Like, these are just small folk who want to go back and farm their village.
Hold on, Nelson. When I said that earlier, you're like, oh, no, people will definitely bail on Blackfish. They don't want to fight this battle. They know they've lost.
I didn't say that. I said that can happen. I guess what I was saying. I guess what I'm getting at is, like, that can happen is if you lose the figurehead, it can potentially be that. Maybe I was more definitive earlier, but I think, like, I don't know. It feels like one of those things where... Like even what Blackfish was saying, like sure you're not going to let these people just go free. So then Edwin or Edmure might get to go live this cush life and be that, but then like these people aren't going to have that same luxury. I don't know. It just feels like it would be putting his needs and his kind of future above everything else.
What I'll say is I kind of say it the other way. I feel like most people, right, whatever percentage of the people that are here. 80 or more, including both armies, would rather just be at home with their wives farming or whatever they normally do in their day-to-day. They're here not because they want to be here, but because somebody more important told them to be here. That's kind of the whole Maribald thing, right? Like you just get lost and you're fighting in a war for somebody you don't even know doing blah, 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 blah. So again, like that theme isn't really present here, but I think that's kind of like that was my point earlier when like, yeah, Blackfish is like, he'll fight to the death. But if you asked every soldier in Riverrun, would they fight to death? Probably not. Most of them probably would prefer to just be at home farming with like their wife, you know what I mean? Like not having an exciting day.
But they just watched the Lannisters destroy their home.
Yeah, again, I can see that. And there's definitely some of that. And some people have a lot of like loyalty to your like nation or your town or whatever. But
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying your house,
I think,
like your physical house. Like these people came, this war came through, destroyed everything. Now they're attacking the people that were set to protect you and did try and protect you. I mean, Riverrun did try and protect their people. This isn't like a bad king or anything, or not bad king, but bad lord or anything. I
agree.
don't know.
I'm just saying if I'm just like some random farmer in the Riverlands and I got called in and now I'm in a war and I've been fighting for 6 months and now I'm locked up I ended up locked up in Riverrun. Like, oh, I'm actually one of the lucky ones though, because I wasn't at the Red Wedding, but now I'm locked up in Riverrun, but we're kind of sieged, so we're kind of fucked. And Blackfish is basically just keeps saying we're gonna fight to the deaths, but like my wife was pregnant when I left for the war, you know what I mean? Like, and now I'm just here, so I don't really want to fight to the death. Like,
well, she would have to be in there too. These people aren't out there.
No, my point is I'm talking from the point of I'm just some random Riverlands man who got called into war. My wife's at home. I left her at home. She was pregnant when I left her. I've been here for 6 months, so I probably have a baby I've never seen. Now I ended up in this castle. Like Blackfish we're fighting to the death. I just keep like gritting my teeth when he says that because I'm like, but I don't really want to do that, right? Like, I would rather just go home, right? Like, and that's kind of my point. Is yes, and that's not the fun part to talk about. We like to talk about the High Lords playing their politics games of who owns which castle, but like my point is they don't care who owns which the biggest castle nearby. At the end of the day, this is what Jorah said. They just want a summer that never ends and a good harvest. That's all the small folk care about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they might care about the fact that the lions just march through their literal living room and rape their wife in front of them, and burn their house down, and destroyed all their crops and all that. You know, I don't know.
I don't think it's as definite as what you're saying now. So that they'd be like, I think people have pride still. Like even the commoners have pride, and they are known to follow their lords too. So where some of them might be like very willing to just drop their sword and run and go play, back to their family.
Yeah, you're gonna have both.
Some of them are gonna be too prideful to just do that, and they want to fight. So I don't think it's 100% in either camp, but
yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with what you're saying, and I think even the people who don't really have the loyalty should still realize that. And this is my problem because I don't really pay attention to real life politics, but like the politics matter, right? Like, okay, maybe when Tully was in charge, you were getting taxed 10%, and yeah, you don't care who's in charge. All you care about is the long summer. But now the Lannisters are in charge, you're getting taxed 50%, right? So like sometimes it does fucking matter, even if you don't want to say it matters.
It does impact you. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah. All right, let's finish up. Edmure thinks while he's in his bath naked, like, I'm going to get up and I could probably kill you right now.
He says it.
He does say it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty stupid.
He said he thinks.
It's pretty stupid.
Who's going to stop him?
There's 4 other people there. Both squires are there. He's naked.
Yeah,
naked in the tub. He's naked in the tub. He doesn't even have a weapon. He came from the gallows. They didn't give him his sword back. Like, what's he going to go kill him with? His bare hands? Like, it was just
He's probably pretty underfed, malnourished and stuff too. Yeah.
I think that's kind of part of the point. And that's why Jaime says, all right, then try it. And that's because Jaime is basically like, I've been where you are. I was in the cell, not getting fed with anything.
I'll hit you with my gold hand. He'd probably actually be able to beat him up. And if it was just fists, if you're just going gold fist to Edmure's naked, weak fist from standing on the gallows, he probably wins. And
so you're saying that after the Ryman slap earlier, Jamie's now realizing that
you
he
would
does
think,
have a decent attachment.
I just hit the shit out of somebody, and I didn't feel a thing, right? My fist didn't hurt at all, and I just knocked this dude out, basically, with the slap.
Broke his jaw.
You guys remember The Onion? The fake news
It still
network?
exists, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, does it still exist? They used to have a show on TNT, I think, where it was like a fake Sports Center show. It only lasted like a season until it got canceled. But dude, there was one episode that cracked me up. There was this guy, and it was like a documentary about this guy who was like in like a UFC type thing. And it kept just showing like these documentary clips of like an interview of him. And he's like, man, they keep discriminating against me. They won't let me play because of my handicap. I can't believe they're not letting a handicapped man play in the UFC just because of my handicap. Like all these interviews, and like just because my first season I went like 16-0, and then they show a clip and he's missing a hand and he has like a titanium hand installed, and he's just like just punching people with this metal hand and just like blowing their face, like literally killing people. That's kind of what Jamie's realizing now. I was like, holy shit, I slapped Ryman and he went flying. Like, this is better than a normal hand.
Yeah. For that, yeah.
I'll try to find the clip and put it in the podcast. It's so good.
The last little bit is Jaime tells the singer to start playing the song. Goes a little something like this. And while Edmure eats. And Edmure's scared of the singer, right?
No, not him. Get him away from me. Yeah. Kind of weird last couple lines. Yeah. No, not him. Get him away from me. Why? It's just a song. Jaime said he cannot have that bad a voice. And like that is italicized.
You can't have that bad of a voice. Well, I think maybe this guy could have been present at the Red Wedding, maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe that's why he's like, get this dude away from me.
Yeah.
All right.
Last time they played this song, bad shit happened.
The big prediction, which I don't think you've actually said yet, Kyle, what happens next. So it seems like the implication is we're just going to send Edmure, we're going to feed him, wash him, send him across the drawbridge. They're going to open the doors. Edmure's inside, and then
he's in charge again.
Like, I guess first off, is that what's going to happen? Like, will all the men, like if Edmure goes in and like, we're turning the castle over, I'm in charge. And Blackfish is like, no, we're fucking not.
Yeah.
like,
Who do the men show their loyalty to is the big question.
yeah, like obviously, I like it by the law. What's it supposed to say? Clearly, they should listen to Edmure. Would they? Is I guess what the first question.
Would they is the big question.
I hope they listen to Brendan. Yeah, that'd be my hope for sure.
I think the big problem now is that even if Edmure goes into the walls and it's like, all right, well, screw them. Let's just keep sieging them out. Like, I've been over there. They don't have much or whatever. They have this amount of time. There's the baby, right? Like, at some point, that baby's going to get trebucheted over the wall if Edmure just hide behind them.
Exactly. So that goes into my second question. So the first question was, what will the men do if there is a conflict between Edmure and Brendan? And second one is, will there be a conflict between Edmure and Brendan? Will Edmure want to surrender the castle, or will he go in and be like, no? Kind of like what Jeff's saying. I see a way.
I don't think Brendan lets him in.
That's interesting.
Okay. There you go.
I think Brendan's smarter than that. He seems smarter than this already. Like, he has to know something's up.
What if Blackfish just shoots him with an arrow?
Maybe.
Sorry, Edmure, you're out.
I'm in on that.
Symbolisms from earlier, how Edmure was missing the boat and then Blackfish hit the boat. There you go. I like it.
I'm in charge now. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Now. Like it. I'm in. No, I don't know if he's going to shoot him, but I think maybe he seems smarter than this. Everybody seemed to be giving him credit earlier too, so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Also, it's kind of one of our last little remnants of hope from the original kind of Stark part of the war, right? Like, if Riverrun falls, what do we got left now? So that's why I'm holding out hope. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, we got Arya and Bravos, we got Sansa in the Vale, but in Bran, wherever Bran is for a book and a half, has been gone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like, there's no army there, so without this, that's kind of our last little ember of hope. So that's why I'm pulling for him extra hard for Brendan to be smart. So
go Tullys. Yeah, I agree.
All right, bye, Kyle.
All right, we'll see Kyle in the next one for Cersei.
8 for sure.
Ooh, we're getting out there in Cersei's. She definitely has to have the most this book. Huh?
Cersei 9. I want to stick with 8. I think 8's a good number.
Cersei 9. Good call, Jeff.
Bitch. Cut that to make I was right.
And Cersei was. I will.
There you go. Bye, Kyle.
See you guys in the next. That's you guys in the spoiler section.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ.
See Kyle in the next one. Yeah, you know what I mean. I say it fucking wrong half. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Bye, Kyle.
Bye bye. See you on the next one.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Now on the spoiler section for Jaime 6. Jeff, you got anything?
All right. So first thing I'd maybe teased this in the non-spoiler. You had mentioned that this chapter must be so good that they kept it pretty much. The main hits were in the show, right? Yep. And it just made me think of Brienne's storyline and how it's so different because Brienne's chapter sucks.
Does she? She doesn't even fight Biter or Roar. There is no
fights
lady.
the Hound.
Well, there's no Lady Stoneheart. I think part of the reason the Brienne storyline got cut is because the Brienne storyline in the books leads up to her re-meeting Kat, and they dropped the Lady Stoneheart character from the show. So, like,
maybe
what's the end of that story arc? What do they even do with her instead? They have her meet the Hound. That's not bad.
She fights the Hound and she sees Arya, and then Arya leaves.
That's not bad. I don't hate that.
It was fine.
Yeah,
it's probably better. Is my point. It was probably better.
Yeah, and then she goes after Sansa, who's in the north, but she's not there.
Her fighting the Hound is better. I mean, the Rogue Biter part's pretty cool. It just took us 7 chapters to get there.
I don't really have a good argument to. There's too much like the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right?
We don't have to go down.
You don't
this
need
rabbit
7
hole.
chapters.
It was just a thought of
chapter. Yeah, okay.
It was just a thought of what I had is that Brienne's storyline was basically, other than her having Pod, it was pretty much completely different.
I agree with you. I know I have a soft spot for Brienne because she reminds me of Dunk in every moment. But for the average reader, I can 100%.
I don't need to keep shitting on Brienne.
Who's this one?
Starting off? Who's the singer? I know we know who the singer is.
Thomas Evans.
Oh, he's a Brotherhood guy.
Brotherhood Without Banners, exactly. Yeah, basically being a spy.
I know we even talked about it, but I forgot.
And he, let me see if I have it easily accessible on Tom's note.
But why does
he has a history? This is one of the biggest questions I have, and I would love to hear fans' comments either in the YouTube comments or in the Discord. And I always thought Edmure's reaction was overreaction. There aren't any exclamation points. All he said is no, not him. Get him away from me. Which is odd, considering like Jaime just threatened like
it's
way
just
worse
a random
than, like,
singer
that. So why are
yeah.
you concerned about this right now?
Random singer
but, like,
he grabbed.
it's not like he's like, no, not it. Like there's no exclamation points. He's just saying it. But I think it is odd. It seems like an over from what we've heard. All we've heard is that Tom wrote a song. Like he stole a girl. Like him and Edmure were both after the same girl one time or something like that. And Tom ended up with her. Or Edmure ended up with her, but he couldn't get it up because he was too drunk. So then Tom ended up with her, and then Tom wrote a song about a floppy fish. And ever since then, Edmure is kind of
that makes sense then.
Not like music. But like Jaime just threatened to throw your baby over a wall. Do you really care about a guy who wrote a bad song about you?
Yeah, I do think Edmure's that kind of guy. I think Edmure's that kind of guy. It makes complete sense to me now.
Yeah, to me it seems like this should be the least thing you care about as a guy who wrote a bad song about you one time when somebody else just threatened to throw your baby over a wall.
Yeah, but he knows he's gonna fold. Edmure knows he's gonna fold. Edmure's saving that kid.
Oh, like he knew immediately once Jaime offered the good option, I'm taking this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now he just doesn't want to have to deal with this guy who doesn't like singing a song about how his future house might be destroyed. Okay,
for sure. That's my take on it. Edmure's. Do we know what do we know? Is this it? This is it, right?
No, there's another one. I was fucking with Kyle. I think there's a few more. There's one more in Feast and then another one in Dance, I think.
What happens in that chapter?
There's a few in Dance. Yeah, he goes to House Raventree in Dance.
Yeah, but what's the end of Edmure's storyline?
Jaime sends Forley Prester west. I think it's Forley Prester west with Jane Westerling and Edmure and like some of these people as the more important people as captives. The beginning of the next chapter is we don't really see it, but Edmure has basically taken Plan A. He's accepted the surrender peacefully, but he's let Blackfish escape. They opened one of the gates that goes through the water. They opened it like 3 feet, so it didn't come the whole way out of the water, but it came off the ground, and then he swam under it, and then at nighttime floated down the river.
He got on a dinghy.
Yeah, I think he just floated, not because he went underwater under the thing, so just in his body. But yeah, that's one of the big question marks, I guess, that fans have for Wins and Winners. They think Blackfish is going to show up.
Well, he better. He can't just float away.
Like, what happens if Cat and Blackfish come back together? Like, if Cat, Blackfish, Jaime, and Brianna are all in the same room, I'm in
there
for it. Yeah,
I'm in on that for sure.
Let me see real quick. Give me a sec. I don't have exactly what the beef between Tom and Edmure was, but I think it was pretty much what I said. There was a girl thing he couldn't get it up.
Rings a bell.
Tom wrote a song about a floppy fish. Yeah, but yeah, that's who that is. It's Tom. Rob's crown.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I read that. I read what she was wearing, and I thought it was explaining like her body, and I didn't put it together at all. So,
well, George was doing his thing where he was talking about her tits. He's like, they're big and round, and he's talking about her nipples and stuff. So, but yeah, then he goes into the crown. It's Rob's crown. The big question mark for me is Jaime says, "Take the horror if you want when you go home, but but leave the crown." Do you know what happens with Ryman? Also, I love playing this game with Kyle where I'm like pretending there is no more Jaime or Brienne chapters when there are really another Brienne and Jaime chapter.
But
yeah, do you know what happens with Ryman?
He kills himself.
He gets he's on his way back to the twins and he gets captured and killed by the
Brotherhood,
by Stoneheart. Yes.
Do you think Tom? I guess not right now because it's in the tent playing music. But do you think Tom was like, "Yo, Frey guys are about to leave east. Like, be on the lookout for him."
I think there is definitely a way he's communicating out without leaving. Like someone's coming and he's meeting him in the woods at night or something like that. Yeah, for sure. Because the next thing I'm going to tell you is in the Brienne chapter, Catelyn has Rob's crown. So if Jaime tells
Cat has Rob's crown.
Well, Lady Stoneheart has Rob's crown.
You can call her Cat.
She has Rob's crown when Brienne meets her for the first time, basically. So if Jaime tells Ryman to leave it, like there was actually I was looking this up earlier. I was like, are there any theories on this? And I found a Reddit post that I think you're gonna like it. It's not a very complicated theory, but he's like Chris24 on Reddit 3 years ago. These have been out so long. How did Rob's crown get from Ryman to Lady Stoneheart? Jaime instructed Ryman to leave the crown behind, so how did it end up with the Brotherhood's hands? There are plenty of possibilities, none of which seem to have any real confirmation. Ryman took it back with him to the twins anyway.
Okay.
He says this is the Occam Razor answer. Simplest is the most likely. Number 2, Queen of Horns stole it, and she is a secret person, black, maybe a Brotherhood Without Banner supporter.
Boo.
Another Brotherhood Without Banners member, collaborator stole it, Thomas Evans maybe. So he did leave it behind, but Tom took it and then maybe took it to this, if he's meeting with somebody in the woods or whatever. It's an error. George missed it. Or there's some crazier tinfoil in this guy that says, I don't know, Blackwater or something. So that's what I like. That's where I'm at. Like, again, I'm kind of on the Ryman probably just took it, but I kind of don't hate the idea that Tom, he did leave it, and Tom is somehow, and we're going to find out who wins a winner. I don't think it really matters either way, right? It's just kind of one of those cool inconsistencies that I think George is putting in there for a reason to make the readers raise their eyebrow. Like, wait a minute, they were supposed to leave that. How did she get it? Like, even if Ryman died, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know if the crown means that much to TBH. Like, it's not Aegon. I mean, I guess not. I was kind of contradicting myself. Like, you can kind of always forge a new crown if you needed to, right? Which is what they've done. Everyone's not wearing Aegon the Conqueror's crown. Yeah,
I think this is newly forged too, and I agree that I don't know if the crown itself means much. I think I don't know. I think it's more interesting than anything that there's a seemingly blatant inconsistency. Like, this is something I feel like even a first time reader could pick up. Like, Kyle might realize
he says leave the crown, but I mean, yeah, he says leave the crown. He doesn't take the crown with him. Like, if Jaime had the crown in his possession and then it ended up with Cat, I think that's
I think the next Brienne chapter is before the next Jaime chapter. So we'll see the next Brienne chapter. And I think we might hear, oh, we killed Ryman or something like that. Like, but I don't know if that means that's where they got the crown. I don't think there's any implication of that. Or I forget exactly how we got all this news. But my point is, I think we see the crown with Cat before we see the next Jaime. Or
sure,
not that I don't know how that matters.
I'm saying my thought is he told Ryman leave it, and he didn't. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. And
then Tom, I don't, everything else just doesn't. I don't think it's like something where it's like, oh, George fucking up. He doesn't. Why would he? How and why would he fuck that up? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Just like he didn't mean to leave in the line where Jaime said leave it, because it is just like a one sentence.
But
thing.
that's
he just didn't.
No, come on.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is an intentional inconsistency in chapters that are relatively close together that is meant to be like, wait, why? And it's one of those things where I don't know why, but
it's not going to truly matter.
I hope this somehow matters somewhat, not in a huge scale, but somewhat in Wins a Winner. Exactly.
It's not going to matter until the crown actually matters, which it doesn't right now.
Yeah, and the only way I could see it actually mattering in the short term is being like crowning Jon, who's the heir, but
crowning Jon or crowning Sansa, something like that.
Again, like who cares if you at that point? I agree with you. Who cares?
You
if
can make a new crown.
Yeah, who cares? Like, this one's been around for like 7 months. Like, there's no legacy with this guy. Yeah. So, last thing I had is, you had mentioned during the non-spoiler. Do we know of a castle that has been like completely destroyed and the family wiped out for no reason?
I don't know if I said for no reason, but
not for no reason, but yeah, completely wiped out because of like a rebellion or something like that. And I agreed, not on this scale, but in the next Dunk book, again, going back to the last Brienne.
Just kidding. I like Dunk today.
When Bloodraven shows up at the very end and he's like, I want this castle destroyed. I want salt sowed in the fields so that even grass and nothing can grow here for decades. I don't want anyone remembering that there was ever a castle here. So we do hear this exact, like, kind of what Jaime's thought here, but it's from Bloodraven, which is, again, he's kind of a Tywin. He seems like a Tywin character when he's
guy. Bloodraven's a ruthless guy.
Yeah, he seems very Tywin-y kind of when he's in charge. Like,
I don't think it's, again, I don't know. If it was Highgarden or Winterfell or, I think it's...
I agree. Scale matters.
Castle Rock, you're not tearing them down.
This is a huge gift. Exactly. You can give this to somebody else to win loyalty. White walls, while a cool castle and a castle. It's not...
If you want to tear down Derry... Like, I think that's...
Exactly. It's a good
We're more in the realm of tearing down Derry than we are River Run.
Exactly. Yep. Agreed. So, just wanted to point that out because it made me think of it when you were saying, has there been a castle? I was like, well, yeah, but...
I mean, we know that...
I love Dunk, so.
Yeah, I guess the point was there actually a castle taken down brick by brick, which probably even... I get why Bloodraven said to do it then, because it's a big sign of rebellion, but...
That's all I had.
Yeah, let's sign off.
Shortest spoil section in a while. Let's get us out of here. See you guys in the next one. Cersei 9.
Bye.
Bye-bye.